What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new Football Manager 2016 experiments video, and it's the big one. It's Paul Pogba and his world record transfer from Juventus to Manchester United. Now, at the time of recording this video, the deal has not gone through. Every single news outlet across the country, I'm sure it's doing the same in every single country in the world as well, is linking him and saying it's going to be done in 48 hours and so on. So I'm getting this done whilst here's the hot topic. Now, you're probably wondering when the hell have you been if you are a subscriber, and if you're a new subscriber, you're probably thinking, why is there 7 months between videos, or 6 months, whatever it's been? Obviously, I've had a long break, but I am back, and I am back for good, and I'm starting off big. But what we do in these videos, we give the transfer, in this case, Paul Pogba, 3 years, and we monitor his progression and obviously the club he's at, so Manchester United, see how they do, and we do a bit of a summary at the end of each season. So, as you can see on screen right now, we do have Paul Pogba. There's his attributes. We'll just take a quick look at the contract that I've given him. 300 grand a week. I don't know if that's accurate, but I'm going to give him that anyway. It's going to be down as a free transfer because I had to do it myself, because obviously it's not actually gone through just yet. And then one final thing that we can look at, if we go to here, his age says 22, but in real life it's 23, obviously because Football Manager starts off in the 2015-16 season, but we're about to go into the 16-17 season. But let's jump 1 year into the future and see how his first year at Man United goes for him. Okay, so as you can see, we are 1 year into the future, and we're roughly about a month behind, 2 months, so, you know, from real life. As you can see, June 2016, but, you know, for the sake of it, this is next year. As you can see, Paul Pogba, thankfully, is still at Man United. Would have been a bit of a disaster if they sold him. Mourinho's still there as well, but let's take a look at the key interest. Paul Pogba. So if we go to his stats for this season, as you can see, he played 36 games, getting 15 goals and 3 assists. Only one player of the match, which is pretty disappointing for a 100 million signing. 7.30 average match rating. Now, obviously, that's only in the league. Let's take a look at all competitions. So, 53 appearances in all competitions, 8 of which being substitute appearances. 21 goals. He took a penalty, but he did miss. 5 assists, 18 yellow cards, which is absolutely crazy. But obviously, he's playing that deep line playmaker role. He's going to be needing to win the ball back and so on. So, it may be expected. And a 7.18, yeah, that's right, average match rating in all competitions. If you look at continentals, 13 appearances. That to me says Man United may have got quite far in the Europa League, which they were in this season. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Contract wise, he's still on the same contract, so no contract extension given. Injuries, not had an injury for 6 years, so, you know, nothing new on that front. Transfer wise, no one's interested in him. £52 million in value, so half pretty much of what I actually goes for. But you know, the prices on this, they're all over the place anyway. And yeah, as you can see, they did actually win the Europa League. We'll go into that in a bit more detail in a minute. And they won the Community Shield. Let's take a quick look at that now. Actually, let's go to Man United and to competitions. So they did win the Community Shield. It'll be against Leicester. Yeah, they won on penalties. Let's just check. I can't actually get any details on that match, but all we do know is Man United did win that. They actually had quite a good season, to be fair, apart from the league. We'll get to that in a minute. They got knocked out in the semi-finals of the Capital One Cup. They'll be disappointed by that. They got knocked out to Watford. I wouldn't be surprised if they fielded a weakened team, because they shouldn't really be losing to Watford over 2 legs. Hull City actually went on to win that competition. As for the FA Cup, runner-up to Arsenal. You know, it's, you know, if you lose in a cup final to Arsenal, it's kind of, you know, it's not acceptable. You still want to win, but, you know, it's not like losing to a lower division team. We just take a look at the stats on that game. Pretty balanced, to be fair, but Arsenal walk away with 3-1 winners. If we go back, where am I going here? We're going to the Europa League. They did actually win the Europa League, beating Shakhtar in the final 3-0. Let's see if Paul Pogba bagged it all. He didn't. How did he play? 6.3, so quite a poor game for Paul Pogba actually in that Europa League final. Got substituted on the 58th minute. Let's see who came on for him. It's Morgan Schneiderlin came on for him. I was going to say it's not Tell Me, but it quite clearly is. And then if we go, here we go. Premier League. Media predicted them to finish 4th. They actually finished 3rd. Only 5 points off the top, 2 points behind local rivals Man City and Tottenham making up the top 4, but they were well inside the top 4. As you can see, Everton 20 points back in 5th place. As I said, 5 points away from winning the league, and you know they actually dropped 5 points in the last 5 games of the season. So if they were, to look at that, they'll probably be disappointed. One thing I've actually just noticed is they had the fewest defeats in the whole division, but drew a shed load of games, so that's obviously lost them the Premier League title. They shouldn't be drawing that many games. Middlesbrough, Swansea, Crystal Palace, they shouldn't be drawing them home games. Burnley as well. There's a few games that they'll be disappointed there. Obviously as well, losing at home to Watford 1-0. Disappointing results there for them, so that'll be something they'll look to improve upon for next season. Let's jump one more year into the future and see how Paul Pogba gets on in his second season at Manchester United. Okay, so we are one more year into the future. One thing you may be able to notice if you have a good eye is Manchester United's league positioning, but we're not going to focus on that. We're going to go straight to Paul Pogba, who is the main reason for this video. Go to his stats for this season: 36 appearances yet again in the Premier League, 12 goals, so actually less goals, got more assists, and 3 player of the match performances, which is great to see. He's actually improving on that, especially for the transfer fee he's going to go for. 7.48 average match rating, so improvement upon last year as far as I'm concerned. That's the first thing you want to see, especially in terms of stats, because stats don't tend to lie. Go to all competitions, 50 appearances in all comps. I think that's less than last year. Yeah, 53 with 8 of which substitute. Only 1 of which substitute this year though. 19 goals. He still doesn't get the hang of penalties, does he? He took 1 and missed 1. Obviously scored 2 for France. He's actually got 10 in 10 for France, which is quite impressive. Also with 2 assists. 8 assists in all competitions. A lot less yellow cards, which is great to see. He actually, overall, pretty decent on the average match rating, around the same marker, and then obviously a really exceptional one for France, but you would if you're getting 10 in 10. Let's take a look. Has he picked up any injuries? No, he hasn't, so all good on that front. He's worth 56 million. I can't remember what I said he was last year. I think it may have been around that same price. Can't quite remember. Let's take a look. Actually, I can see already his contract has not been extended at all, so still on the same contract. If we take a look at his attributes, pretty much similar, I think, from the start, so he's not really doing much improvement. Let's just actually see what ability he's at, because obviously I've got the FM editor. He's actually, so his current ability is 192, and his potential ability is 192, so he is pretty much at his maximum ability right now. He may improve, he may not, he may, go downhill, you never know, but let's take a look at Man United. So let's see how he actually influenced the season, if he did so at all. So they actually win the Premier League, but the first thing I notice, they won it with less points than last year. 81 points compared to 85, was it last year? I believe it was 85, and they were only first. I'll just take a quick look at this properly so you can see it for yourself. They only took the Premier League on the last day of the season. Chelsea drawing 2-2 at home to Arsenal, whereas Man United go and win at home to Ipswich, which actually moves them up into first position, and they take the Premier League title. Manchester City were first for a large part of the season there, as you can see, but United ultimately getting the league title secured, which is the main thing. If we go back to Man United's competitions, going a long way back there, but let's take a look at this cup. Yeah, they've not had the best seasons in the cup. They actually came runner-up in the European Super Cup to Real Madrid. And then just to note, Real Madrid have actually now won 2 back-to-back Champions Leagues. Clicked on the wrong thing there. So, 3 back-to-back Champions League. Very, very impressive stuff from Real Madrid. They were actually knocked out, though, Manchester United, in the first knockout round to Bayern Munich. We could take a quick look at what the score was on aggregate, if we can find it. Let's go down here. So they lost 3-0 home. They won 3-1 away, so quite strange. You'd imagine it would be the other way around. They do lose 4-3 on aggregate in that game. If we look at the FA Cup, knocked out in the 6th round by Chelsea. I believe that's the quarterfinals. I think that's the quarterfinals in the FA Cup. And they were knocked out in the 4th round of the Capital One Cup by Crystal Palace. Manchester City going on to win that tournament, whilst Newcastle picking up the victory in the FA Cup. I think that's all we needed to cover for this campaign. We'll just go back to Paul Pogba. So there's Paul Pogba, 24 years of age. Obviously, he will be 25, in terms of how this game's set out. But yeah, I don't want to get too confusing with that. So he's 24, we'll leave it at that. We're going to jump into his third and final season at Man United and see how he gets on. Okay, so we are in Paul Pogba's third and final season that I'm giving him at Manchester United. Now, once again, if you have a great eye, you will be able to spot two things actually this season. But I'm not going to stay on this page for too long, so let's move on to Paul Pogba. Go to his stats, obviously. 34 appearances in the Premier League this season, so actually 2 less than the other 2 seasons he's had. But, straight away you can tell, much better campaign for him. 19 league goals, 6 assists, and 6 player of the match performances. If we just look down here, we'll actually stay up here. 7.71 average match rating, so again, a significant improvement on previous years. If we go down to the all competitions, 48 appearances, 22 goals. He's actually managed to score a penalty for United, although taken 2, scoring 1, so he has missed 1 again. Assist 8, player of the match performances 8, 15 yellow cards, so he's keeping that tally high, isn't he? 7.58 average match rating across all competitions. So, yet again, pretty decent, well, a very decent season for Paul Pogba. We'll just take a look. Has he been injured? Yet again, he's not been injured. That's the type of player you want at your club. No, actually, he has actually signed a new contract. I was going to say no contract extension, but it's just no wage rise. He has signed a new deal, taking him to 2022. Transfer-wise, he's worth 65 million now, so that's definitely gone up. I believe it was about 56 last year. So, obviously, his value is going up. I'm just going to take a quick look at his ability. He's still a 192, so, still at that same level. Attributes-wise, believe it's pretty much all around the same, and yet again, I'm just going to say if you've got a good eye, you will be able to spot something on this page. But we'll take a look at Man United anyway, see what influence he has had on them this season. So there we go. That's what I was saying. Something I noticed. Something isn't on here though, so I'll go back to that in a minute. They were runner-up in the Community Shield against Newcastle. Obviously, they'll be disappointed by that 1-0 defeat. They were knocked out in the third round of the Capital One Cup by Chelsea, obviously a big rival. Liverpool went on to win that tournament. As for the FA Cup, Manchester City knocked them out in the fourth round, yet again a rival. And that tournament was won by Arsenal, so, decent teams winning the tournament and knocking United out. They won't be happy they got knocked out, but it kind of makes up for it here. As you can see, they won the league by 17 points. They were well clear from a long way into the season. We'll take a quick look at what point of the season did they actually take the lead. So they took it in game week 12 and they stayed there for 26 matches, which is very, very impressive for United. They nearly broke Jose Mourinho's own record of 95 points, only 2 points away with 93. As I said, they won the league, 17 clear points with Arsenal in second, Man City in third, a whole 20 points back. And I believe, I'm not sure, 27 points clear of Liverpool, which is absolutely crazy. They only lost 3 games all season, all at home surprisingly, and obviously Aston Villa, they would not be happy losing at home to Aston Villa. Chelsea and City, they could probably, get away with that. As for draws, West Ham at home probably wouldn't be too happy even with that. Everything else looks pretty standard. They didn't actually manage to beat West Ham once this season, which is quite shocking. Same with Manchester City and same with Chelsea. So everyone else, they must have done the double over. But as I said, there's one thing on here which I've noticed which wasn't on that page, and that is down here. If we go to this, you will notice Manchester United did win the Champions League final against Barcelona in the Amsterdam Arena. 2-1 even. I don't even know why I've just discredited Luis Suarez's goal. 2-1 was the final score. But as you can see, Paul Pogba stepping up when he needed to. He got the ultimate winning goal. At the time, it was 2-0. Suarez went on to make it 2-1, but Pogba's goal was the all-important one. 2 very early goals for Man United, sealing the deal. United lift, I believe it would be their 4th Champions League. Let's take a quick look at that. Yeah, 4 Champions League, 22 Premier League divisions now. Being a Liverpool fan, that doesn't sound very nice. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is still at the club. That's quite interesting. He was actually in the under-21s there. That's a bit of a strange one. Is he transfer listed? He's not. Let's just go back to Paul Pogba anyway. I've gone all over the place here. There he is. So to summarise really, Paul Pogba has been improving significantly season by season. Obviously he needed a bit of time to bed into the Premier League, to English football, but this season he was an absolute revelation. If you want me to continue this video for maybe 2 more seasons so it goes to 5, let me know. I've still got this saved and I'll be sure to do that. Just a few other experiments that are going to be coming up. Big Sam Allardyce as the England manager. Higuain to Juventus, obviously that's a huge deal, £75 million I believe it was. I'm going to be doing a BPL 2016-2017 prediction for Football Manager. It's not of my own opinion, it's how Football Manager predicts it to go. I'll be doing how to get the newly transferred players, just for people that don't know how to do that. And a big, new series that I'll be starting on this channel now. I've started the channel up again, is a football talk show where I'll be doing it 2 times a week. It will be on the Premier League, and basically I'll review the Premier League weekend just past, and then I'll do a preview of the weekend coming up. My aim is to do the review on the Tuesday, so obviously all the games are out the way, and then the preview on the Thursday, so obviously with the new Friday Night Football, I can preview all the games coming up for that weekend. That's what's coming out on the channel. There'll obviously also be a Let's Play series, maybe numerous Let's Play series for Football Manager. I don't think I'll be uploading every single day. I want to get the quality of the videos perfect and then start to embed that into the YouTube channel. If you are new around here and like this type of stuff, please drop a subscription on the channel, drop a like on the video. It all helps me out. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, goodbye.